I still remember the way the string lights twinkled above us like they were mocking what was about to happen. It was my sister's wedding day, the kind of perfect afternoon everyone dreams about. Ivory roses, soft music, and the smell of fresh linen everywhere. I should have felt happy. Instead, my stomach was in knots. I stood beside Sarah, my girlfriend of 3 years, gently holding her hand. She looked breathtaking in her soft sage green dress, her hair falling in loose waves. To me, she was everything, kind, brilliant, and the only person who ever made me feel truly seen. But my parents, they had never accepted her. From the moment we arrived, I could feel their eyes judging her. Sarah didn't come from old money. She worked hard, built something from nothing. But in their eyes, she would never be good enough for their youngest daughter. As we moved through the crowd, my mother pulled me aside near the champagne tower. Her smile was tight. "Sweetheart, maybe keep her in the background today. This is your sister's moment." I tried to laugh it off, but the knot in my stomach tightened. Then came the moment that shattered everything. We were at the family table when my father stood up, glass in hand, ready to make one of his famous toasts. He looked straight at Sarah with that condescending smile I had grown to hate. "And let's give a special welcome to Sarah," he announced loudly enough for half the room to hear. "She's the wonderful young woman who helps keep our house so spotless. We're so glad she could join us today." As the cleaner, a ripple of awkward laughter spread through the guests. My face burned with humiliation. Sarah's hand went still in mine. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole, but then I noticed something strange. One guest, a sharply dressed man in his late 40s standing near the back, froze completely. His champagne flute stopped halfway to his lips. His eyes widened in pure shock as he stared at Sarah. The color drained from his face. He looked like he had just seen a ghost. I didn't understand it then. But that single frozen stare was the first crack in the lie my parents had built around us. The rest of the reception became a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Whispers followed us everywhere. Is she really the maid? How did she end up at the head table? My aunts gave her pitiful smiles. My cousins avoided eye contact. Sarah smiled through it all. But I could see the pain flickering behind her eyes, the same pain I had watched her bury for years every time my family dismissed her. I pulled my mother into the bridal suite during a break. My voice shook. "How could you do that? She's not the cleaner. She's the woman I love." My mother barely blinked. "Darling, we're protecting you. She doesn't belong here. Look at her hands. She clearly works with them." "We're just being honest." Those words cut deeper than anything. Because Sarah had told me her story many times. How she had built her own cleaning company from the ground up after losing her parents young. How that company had quietly grown into a major commercial enterprise that served luxury hotels and elite estates across the state. She never bragged. She never needed to. But my parents never bothered to ask. They saw what they wanted to see, someone beneath them. Sarah stayed quiet the entire evening. When I asked her if she was okay, she just squeezed my hand and whispered, "I'm here for you." Not them. Her strength only made their cruelty hurt more. I felt torn into, caught between the family who raised me and the woman who made me feel alive. The betrayal wasn't just about the public humiliation. It was the casual way they erased her dignity, her accomplishments, her worth, all to protect their precious image. By the time the cake was cut, I was quietly crying in the bathroom. I stared at myself in the mirror and made a silent promise. I would never let them do this to us again. But what I didn't know was that Sarah had already decided the same thing. The real moment came during the final dance. The same man who had frozen earlier approached our table. He was the CEO of one of the largest hospitality groups in the country. He looked at Sarah with deep respect and said loud enough for my parents to hear, "Sarah Thompson, I can't believe it's you. We've been trying to secure a contract with your company for 2 years. Your team transformed our flagship hotel last quarter. Best service we've ever had. It's an honor." The entire table went silent. My father's face turned ash gray. My mother's champagne glass nearly slipped from her fingers. The same people who had laughed at the cleaner joke now stared in stunned disbelief. Sarah stood up gracefully, still holding my hand. Her voice was calm, warm, and powerful. "Thank you, Richard. I appreciate the kind words. My team works hard to make sure every client feels respected, something everyone deserves." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. The truth did all the work. My parents tried to backtrack with weak compliments, but the damage was done. The guests who had whispered earlier now looked at them with second-hand embarrassment. The perfect image they had built for years cracked in front of everyone. Later that night, as Sarah and I drove home, I leaned my head on her shoulder. The weight I had carried for years finally lifted. I told her I was sorry for not speaking up sooner, for letting them treat her that way. She kissed my forehead and said softly, "You don't have to fight my battles, love, but choosing me." That was enough. That night taught me something I'll never forget. Real love doesn't need validation from people who only see surfaces. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's simply letting the truth speak while you stand tall beside the person who was never beneath you. My parents called the next day with half-hearted apologies. I accepted them, but things were never the same. I chose Sarah. I chose us. And in doing so, I finally chose myself. If you've ever been made to feel small by the people who were supposed to love you most, remember this: your worth was never theirs to define. The right person will see your light even when others try to dim it. And sometimes, one frozen stare is all it takes for the truth to set you free. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please comment your own experience below, and subscribe for more real stories of love, betrayal, and quiet justice. I'll see you in the next one.